A lot of the talk this offseason about the Green Bay Packers defense in 2026 is how will they manage the beginning portion of the season with Micah Parsons out, still yet to return from his ACL recovery. Because it seems more and more likely that the Packers will be without Micah Parsons for at minimum the first 4 to 5 weeks, and that could even span into week 7 or 8. And with the Green Bay Packers letting J.J. Enagbare walk in free agency and trading away Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys, it begs the question, do they have enough experience in the edge rusher room to make do for that first portion of the season before Micah Parsons returns? Well, we got another free agent rumor for the edge rusher position regards to the Green Bay Packers over the weekend. So in today's video, brought to you by Prize Picks, we're going to break down that rumor, the thought of this player being added to this Packers roster on the defense and how it could help them, at least until Micah Parsons is back. All right, so let's just dive right down into it and go over the player, the edge rusher, that the Packers are rumored to be a favorite landing spot for him. And that is none other than former first-round draft pick Jadeveon Clowney. An article came out over the weekend from NFL insider Jason La Canfora, and it does list the Green Bay Packers as favorites to land Jadeveon Clowney this offseason. And it states several teams are monitoring his situation according to league sources, and he has posted 3 straight highly productive seasons after a star-crossed career since being a first overall selection. Then in terms of the landing spots overall that it lists for Jadeveon Clowney, it states every team in the NFC North, for instance, is lacking a defensive player in the mold of Clowney, and it would not surprise league executives if he were to end up with Chicago, Detroit, or Green Bay in particular. Clowney is in no hurry to sign anywhere according to sources with knowledge of the situation, and at this stage of his career, even training camp or a full training camp is not a prerequisite for him. One executive told Sports Bloom he has a hunch that Clowney ends up with the Green Bay Packers. Now, given these are just rumors, so take them as that, just rumors, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of us Packers fans can agree that this edge rusher room is lacking experience without Micah Parsons out on that football field. And without Micah Parsons on the football field, you also ask the question, is this defense going to be good enough to win games until Micah Parsons returns? Right now, over on Prize Picks, today's video sponsor, the Green Bay Packers are second in terms of winning the NFC North odds. First is actually the Detroit Lions, which surprised me a little bit with a 2.7 multiplier, a significant bit above the Green Bay Packers in terms of odds. And we also have Chicago, the reigning NFC North champs, as much as I hate to say that, are in at third, below the Green Bay Packers. The Packers have a 3.22 odds for yes to win the NFC North. So if you have faith in this Green Bay Packers team, obviously the defense is definitely a question right now in terms of getting pressure on the quarterback without Micah Parsons. That's going to be a live or die situation for this Packers defense if they're able to create pressure without Micah Parsons. But if you believe the Packers have what it takes to win the NFC North this season, go check out Prize Picks. They have plenty other of picks you can check out in regards to the Green Bay Packers by clicking the link down below. Make sure to use code HMA when signing up. That'll net you $50 in lineups when you make a $5 play instantly. Remember to always play responsibly, but if you do, remember to go check out Prize Picks down below. So as I was stating, the Green Bay Packers right now, in my opinion, lack a lot of experience in that edge rusher room. As I've mentioned a ton while making videos on this channel, even talking about the Packers potentially signing A.J. Epineza about a month ago. Now he's since signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, but still, the thought of potentially bringing in a veteran edge rusher has really always remained on my mind to help out this defense early on. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the draft pick and denied Dennis Sutton in the 4th round. You guys know that. He was my player I mocked to the Green Bay Packers in the 2nd round because I believe he will be that good. So the fact that they got him in the 4th round, that's going to help a ton. And then you also have Barron Sorrell, who only saw 206 snaps in 2025, but he showed a lot of flashes, and a lot of people would say he really only saw a lack of snaps because of Rashawn Gary and J.J. Enagbare, both of which not on the team anymore. Then you have Lucas Van Ness, who over his career has seen just over 1,200 snaps. I thought was having a great season last year before injuring his foot. And honestly, he was slated to break out in my opinion. So if he can continue where he left off before that foot injury, he's going to have to step up. He's going to be the number one edge rusher if the Packers don't bring in a veteran here before Micah Parsons does in fact return. Outside of that, you have Brenton Cox Jr., who over his career has only seen 275 snaps. He's been a nice rotational depth piece in that room, but really hasn't shown starter capabilities. And then you have Colin Oliver, who basically had a redshirt rookie season, only saw 31 snaps, I believe, all in that final game against the Vikings. And then Aaron Mosby, who has seen more snaps than Colin Oliver, 169 snaps over his career in Green Bay, but has been mainly a core special teamer. Now, the Packers also added undrafted free agent Nigel Kelly, but to me, that's not a player that is just going to come in and automatically fix their edge rushing experience problem. So then you ask the question again, should the Packers bring in a veteran edge rusher because they are lacking experience? And to me, I honestly think they should if it's affordable. And Jadeveon Clowney right now looks very affordable for a player that has a ton of experience, has played a ton of snaps, and is still playing at a pretty high level, all things considered. If you take a look at Jadeveon Clowney, we'll break him down here for you guys. He's a 33-year-old edge rusher. The Packers have signed older edge rushers in the past, such as Whitney Merciless. And Brian Gutekunst hasn't been afraid to bring in veteran free agents to help round out this roster in years past. That has been very clear. Now, of course, we know Jadeveon Clowney as a former first overall draft pick in that 2014 draft to the Houston Texans. And although he hasn't really, in my opinion, lived up to that first overall draft pick number, he's had a very, very solid career. The fact that he's been in the league for 11 years indicates that he's had a solid NFL career, right? Over his career, he spent most of his time with Houston, 2014 through 2018. Then he had a stop in Seattle, Tennessee, 2 years in Cleveland, Baltimore, Carolina, and most recently in 2025 with the Dallas Cowboys. So at this point, he's hopping around team by team that just needs some help in the edge rushing room. Every single year, he's basically switching teams at this point. But if you go ahead and look at his grades over the seasons, outside of his rookie season in 2014 in Houston, where he only saw 143 snaps, he has never had a below average grade. His lowest grade was in 2021 with the Cleveland Browns, a 66.5. But you can see even as recently as 2023 with the Baltimore Ravens, he saw nearly 800 snaps and an 82.9 defensive grade, 78 pressures, and 11 sacks. Now, of course, that'll be 3 years removed this coming season, but even in Carolina 2 years ago, 44 pressures, 6 sacks, and it got better this past season with the Dallas Cowboys, a 79.2 grade, a pass rush grade of 80.6, 40 total pressures, and 9 sacks over his long 11-year career, soon to be 12-year career, because I believe he will sign somewhere. He has 548 pressures and 72 sacks. Another thing that I really, really like about Jadeveon Clowney, he's not going to come in and just be a pass rusher. Like this guy you can have out there on early downs. He's been a really solid run defender over his career as well. Not the best, but not the worst, right? Earlier on in his career is much better. You can see his grades even topping at a 90.8 in 2018 with Houston. But over the past few seasons, a 74.3 in 2022, a 74.6 in 2023, dips a little bit in 2024. Could be scheme related, and then back to a 70.6 run defense this past year with the Dallas Cowboys. And you can also see how many stops he made in regards to the run game, 27 stops this past season, 24 stops the year before, and 28 stops with Baltimore in 2023. So he's around the football a lot, not just rushing the passer. This guy can disrupt in the run game as well, which as of right now, I think the Packers need a player just like Jadeveon Clowney. Now, last offseason, Jadeveon Clowney did sign with the Dallas Cowboys, and it was a very, very affordable deal. As you can see here, he signed a one-year, $3.45 million contract with the Dallas Cowboys, including a $1.25 million signing bonus that was fully guaranteed. In my opinion, a player like Jadeveon Clowney who can go out there and give you nearly 400, 500, maybe even 600 snaps at the edge rusher position, that's a very cheap price to pay. And if you go ahead and look at his market value, they currently listed at, it's at $5.7 million average annual salary, a little bit higher than what he saw at the Dallas Cowboys last year at $3.45 million, likely because people are shocked that, hey, he still has some left to give in the tank, and he can join a team and go out there and give some much needed snaps. A team like the Green Bay Packers that will most likely be without Micah Parsons for the first 5 to 6 weeks. And like I mentioned, they're lacking a lot of experience at that edge rusher room. Lucas Van Ness over his career, just about 1,200 snaps. Brenton Cox Jr. over his career, 275 snaps. Barron Sorrell over his career, just 1 year, but 206 snaps. Colin Oliver, just 1 year, but 31 snaps. Aaron Mosby, 169 snaps. That totals 1,893 snaps for all the players at the edge rusher position right now that have seen snaps in the NFL. Obviously, denied Dennis Sutton. You have to attribute into this. He's yet to take an NFL snap, but he's going to be a contributor this year for sure. Just comparing that to the last 3 seasons of Rashawn Gary. 2,034 snaps. That's more snaps just out of the last 3 seasons of Rashawn Gary compared to all of our edge rushers that have seen NFL snaps, their careers combined. And don't get me wrong, I think it was the right move to trade away Rashawn Gary. I'm not trying to make that point. I think J.J. Enagbare was also priced out of Green Bay. That $10 million price point was way too high in my opinion. I think more so around $5 to $6 million. The Packers likely would have brought J.J. Enagbare back. And obviously drafting denied Dennis Sutton in the 4th round kind of helps one of those situations, right? You lose 2 starting edge rushers, you bring in denied Dennis Sutton, and you're like, okay, maybe he can replicate some snaps left by, say, someone like J.J. Enagbare, but that still leaves you a massive hole. And we're not even talking about Micah Parsons missing the first, almost half of this season. We're talking about the Packers losing the snaps from Rashawn Gary that they have to replace. Now, you expect players like Lucas Van Ness to step up, Barron Sorrell to step up. But at the end of the day, these are unknowns, and bringing in a veteran like Jadeveon Clowney could give you a little bit of stability in that position group. And right now, the Packers have plenty of cap space to make this happen. Now, they still need to give Tucker Kraft an extension. I expect that to happen very, very shortly. Maybe they give Devontae Wyatt an extension. Even doing both of those things, they still have plenty of room to potentially bring in a veteran free agent at the edge rusher position like Jadeveon Clowney. Right now, they're sitting at $23.8 million in cap space. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you want the Packers to bring in a veteran edge rusher, or are you completely comfortable with what they currently have in that edge rusher group, even if Micah Parsons doesn't come back for, the first 7 to 8 weeks? Let me know down in the comments below if you want the Packers to potentially sign Jadeveon Clowney, or maybe you have an eye on another free agent edge rusher that's on the market that you think the Packers should sign. Let me know in the comments below. But I appreciate you guys coming by to the video. I'll catch you on the next one, and as always, go Pack, go.